Welcome back to MurrayMax. I have a video here, this time from Overtime with Bill Maher. Bill Maher is somebody that, while I may not be a raging fan of his, there's a lot of times where Bill Maher gets it right. And I like to give credit where it's due. I don't just look at, oh, this person leans left, this person leans right. If they lean right, I'm a fan. If they lean left, I'm not a fan. I like to support good ideas and good thoughts and things that align with my principles and beliefs. So let's take a look here and let's see what we got. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want. Tell me in the comments what you think of this video. We got Scott Jennings on here with Bill Maher.
All right, welcome to Overtime. He hosts Snapchat's Good Luck America, Peter Hamby, and he's an author and CNN senior political contributor, Scott Jennings. And the first question is for you, Scott. As someone who's considering a Senate run to replace him, what, you're not? Usually when someone puts out a book, it means they're going to run for office. Not always, but that always is.
Why is everybody always so hesitant to announce that they may be running for office or considering it? I don't understand. It seems like it would only make people get behind you if they supported you.
Isn't writing a book the fastest way to get rich in America right now?
No.
You said it was OnlyFans.
No, you don't get rich writing books. I hate to tell you, bro.
Too late.
Anyway, what do you believe will be Mitch McConnell's legacy? I guess that's who you'd be replacing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, as usual, I haven't watched this video yet, but I will say I can't stand Mitch McConnell. I think Mitch McConnell is bought and paid for. I think that he's a crap, lousy Republican, and he gives Republicans a bad name.
Run for Senate, if you run for Senate.
He's up in 26.
Thank God.
Supreme Court, I mean, without question. I mean, he had a long career, 42 years, won 7 elections in Kentucky, but without question, I think his legacy is the court, specifically the Supreme Court. If he doesn't hold that seat open in the 2016 election, I'm not sure President Trump would have won, and then the cascade of appointments that followed will change the course of this country for generations.
I agree with a lot of things that Scott Jennings says, but I disagree with this completely. I like Scott Jennings, but I do not think that Mitch McConnell's legacy is going to be the Supreme Court. I think Mitch McConnell's legacy is going to be flip-flopping, lying, obstructing, and just being a corrupt politician. Let me know in the comments what you think.
And if people don't remember what you're talking about, in 2015, Scalia died. Was that it? It was, or was it 16? I think.
15. Yeah.
15. Okay. So Obama still had over a year in office. Mm-hmm. And usually when a president is in office, he gets to choose who the Supreme Court nominee. He wanted Merrick Garland, and Mitch McConnell would not even give him a hearing.
Merrick Garland
that was
sucks
unprecedented.
Too.
What is the latest bullshit argument why that's okay?
If the bullshit you're referring to is the advise and consent clause in the U.S. Constitution,
no.
That's the argument.
At the time, the argument was it's too close to an election. It was 2015.
Well, that wasn't the full argument. The full argument was we had divided government, and then the American people were going to make a decision, and they did, and they chose a Republican president. Later.
Well, as I just said in the editorial, if it had been the other way around, you would have went apeshit about it. If somebody had tried, you'd have been.
Okay, I know I keep pausing it and saying stuff, but this one kind of just has me wanting to say things frequently because of the nonsense that they're both kind of saying. Obviously, Scott Jennings is playing like a political approach right now where he's trying to be careful about what he says. Bill Maher is also, they're both being hypocritical. Bill Maher's hypocrisy right here is saying if the other side did that, you would go ape shit. Okay, well, no one on the left was going ape shit when they were using complete lawfare to try to go after Trump for anything and everything while they're trying to put Steve Bannon in jail, while they're trying to put Roger Stone in jail, while they're trying to put Flynn in jail, all these different things. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton can destroy evidence after being subpoenaed for it. And then Comey can just let her walk because say, well, we don't think that she actually meant to do it. How can you argue she didn't mean to do it when she had aides, smashed cell phones with hammers, and wiped her server clean? I mean, if you want to get into the game of if the other side did it, obviously Republicans have done things that Republicans would freak out if Democrats did it. And Democrats need to also understand that it's not just one way, like especially in the last few years. I mean, it's like Joe Biden can have documents left over that are classified and nothing happens. Trump has documents left over that are classified from being president, not vice president, and he gets dragged through court. Trump tries to say that Mar-a-Lago is worth more than $18 million. He gets dragged through court. All these things, they'll change a misdemeanor to a felony so they can extend statute of limitations. I mean, this is just hypocrisy all around. I voted for Trump. I usually support the right, but I mean, sometimes guys like Mitch McConnell are just dog shit.
With it.
Well, I lived through the Bush years when the Democrats in the Senate did everything they could possibly do to obstruct George W. Bush from putting judges on the court. So it's not the first time I lived through.
This is Supreme Court. And when did Bush get a pick on the Supreme Court?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And they gave him a hearing, and then they voted on it. They could have voted him not. We've seen that. Nixon suggested 2 people who they didn't put on the court. You can do that. But you get to actually have a hearing. This was completely unprecedented and unconstitutional and illegal. And by the way, your hero, Mitch McConnell, when they asked him if he would do it again, he said, sure. You know, I mean, and then they did do it again in reverse. When Amy Coney Barrett was put on the court, it was the exact same thing. It was even closer to an election.
It was literally like 3 weeks, a month before the election.
Well, we didn't have divided government then. We had unified government.
That's what I'm saying. It's situational for you.
Right, exactly.
No,
it's just
a different situation.
But
Why are you guys against the exercising of political power?
that's the exercise of political power is fine. This is unconstitutional. That's what we're against. We're against going outside the law. They wrote it down. It's very clear. Same thing as some of the things Trump is saying now about a 3rd term. It's very clear. It's in the Constitution. Aren't you the guys who carry the little pocket Constitution in your thing?
Yeah.
Don't you have one under your pocket square there?
Yeah, and in it.
And it says...
I can see where Bill Maher is coming from here. At the same time, let's not pretend like when someone gets nominated, like Amy Coney Barrett or Brett Kavanaugh gets nominated, the left doesn't go completely batshit and try to drag their friends and family and themselves through the reputational mud and try to like pretend like somebody who doesn't even remember ever meeting him and is apparently now afraid to fly so she can't come testify even though she flies all the time is accusing him of something that she has no actual facts around. And, you know, like all these silly things that happen, it happens on both sides. I'm going to title this video "Blatant Hypocrisy All Around" because Bill is right and wrong, Scott Jennings is right and wrong, and once again, Mitch McConnell's a piece of shit.
2 terms. It says a president gets to pick who is the guy they're going to put up in the Supreme Court.
And it says the Senate has to confirm them, and it says the Senate gets to advise and consent on this, and that's up to the Senate on how they do that. It's a co-equal branch of government.
Oh, so that is the latest bullshit argument. All right, that was my question. All right, I knew there was one. Okay. What did you make of Donald Trump's post this morning alleging that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, this guy.
I love the post online.
All the deals, but he still has time for this. You gotta love it. Since I said she's no longer hot. Or I don't think he means physically hot. I think he means hot in the business. I think she just finished the biggest tour.
Are you sure he doesn't mean physically hot?
I don't. I do not mean that.
I assume he's criticizing her looks. That was my first reaction.
No,
Oh, no longer.
I don't think he means that. I recall when he went to the Super Bowl earlier this year, he noted at the time that the crowd booed her and cheered him. I think at that point he started to detect that she was faltering with the public. And I will say this actually. Scott has a point here. I mean, first of all, she made over $1 billion. She's $1 billion on that tour.
Biggest tour ever.
Yeah, like biggest tour ever in history. When she endorsed Kamala Harris right before the election, and it was a very sort of, I think it was like an Instagram post or something. Her approval ratings, like people polled this stuff. Her approval ratings went up with Democrats, but with Republicans and independents, they actually went down strikingly. Like people don't like celebrities and politicians getting involved in elections.
They really don't. I think it actually hurts.
Yeah,
I agree.
But that was after her tour, like in the middle. She's fine. She'll be fine. But I don't think she's not hot.
Right. She's not.
Yeah, and I don't know that guy's name, Peter Hamby, I think it is. But he's also right. People are sick and tired of all these big institutions, organizations, companies thinking that the general public is going to be wooed by oh my goodness, Beyonce says Kamala's cool. Well, I guess I better go vote for her. It's like nobody's that, well, I shouldn't say nobody's that stupid. Most people aren't that stupid. You know, it's like they treat the average person as if they are so completely detached from reality that I think it was de Blasio in New York when they wanted people to get the Pfizer or the Johnson & Johnson. I mean, he's on TV eating a hamburger and he's like, if you get it, you can get a delicious hamburger and some French fries. And it's like, I'm going to run out and get some new medication because some guy on TV ate a hamburger. Like, it's just crazy.
Unpopular. She's not as hot in the industry now because she just finished a giant tour, so she needs time to, relax and be with that football player.
Who is he?
And by the way, they weren't. When she got booed, they weren't booing her in general. What they were booing was, we don't like you so much in football. Let us just have football. Let us have one thing without Taylor Swift involved. That's what that was about.
That's also a fair point. I don't think the crowd there just flat out hates Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan. I think that a lot of the people that go see Taylor Swift are absolutely psychotic. But you could say that about, people that used to follow Michael Jackson or Guns N' Roses or Metallica or whoever it might be. But yeah, the football crowd is not the right demographic for Taylor Swift.
I support that.
Kash Patel says he's shutting down the FBI's D.C. headquarters and moving staff across the country. Should other government agencies be doing the same? That's an interesting proposition. I'm not against that from the get for any reason. I mean, everything probably is too concentrated in Washington. It's a little too incestuous, right?
I have a take on this about the media. I think news organizations should incorporate more bureaus outside of New York, LA, and Washington.
Oh, totally.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Like I said, I think that's Peter Hamby. That's a great point. I mean, Washington, D.C. is just like this cesspool of like this strange bubble where everything is not what real life is. And there's people who make decisions about our real lives who never even experience it. I mean, some of these people haven't even opened their own car door in 45 years, and they try to tell Americans what life is like.
Cincinnati and wherever, because the bias in media I'm sure you would agree, can be liberal, but it's like less political to me than it is cultural and class-based. And, I just hire more reporters in Des Moines, hire fewer reporters in D.C.
It wouldn't bother me in the slightest if the Agriculture Department was in Iowa and the Department of Homeland Security was somewhere. I mean, Washington, there's a concentration of people there who only talk to each other. They live in this little bubble. And I think the longer you're in it, the less you have in common with regular Americans. You put some of those government workers out in the middle of the country, they might have a little bit better understanding of how people are feeling about how their government's operating.
Do you work out of Washington?
No, I live in Kentucky.
But you contribute to CNN out of Kentucky?
Yep, I get up on Mondays, I fly to New York, I do shows there, I come down on the train, and then I go home to Kentucky at the end of the week, and my house is just outside of Louisville.
Sounds like you're running. All right, thank you. Thank you, people.
All right, so that was like just a fun little video, but I gotta say that video, I'm not gonna say it makes me mad, but it's like, if I'm gonna vote Republican, I don't want to be associated with some Republicans like Mitch McConnell. I can't believe the guy is still around. I mean, physically and from a political standpoint. And, Scott Jennings didn't do too bad here. Peter Hamby didn't do too bad. Bill Maher is always kind of like on point, but also can't see some things. And, I mean, all three of these guys, they talk about a bubble, but all three of these guys live in their own kind of bubble. It's hard not to when you're famous and wealthy and, stuff like that. But, it doesn't have to be that way. You can still open up your mind and not think that I feel like a lot of times these people, because they're well known, they get a lot of people who don't tell them no. Because they're successful, they get some kind of arrogance about them where they think that they're right at least most of the time. And I just kind of wish there was a more humbling approach to a lot of this stuff. But overall, not terrible by anybody on here, but also not knocking it out of the park. This video is getting titled Hypocrisy All Around, blatant hypocrisy, because, there's points that Scott Jennings is making. And like I said, I like Scott Jennings. I just think that he doesn't see all of this for what it is, and he should not be quiet when Mitch McConnell is getting called out, because Mitch McConnell has just been terrible for the Republican Party, politics, the country in general. He has got to, I wouldn't be surprised if you opened up his suitcase, his briefcase, if he had a wad of cash wrapped in a brown paper bag inside there that someone just handed him in the parking lot. But anyways, just joking, YouTube. Anyways, if you like this video or don't like this video, I'm sure the trolls will come in the comments too. Go ahead, give me some engagement. Comment on here, like, subscribe, share it. Thanks for tuning in.